Are you ready?
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Tool to Play presents Still Got Game with Derek D. Smooth Nolan and Joel Dude I Rock Albert.
This episode of Still Got Game is brought to you by GoDaddy. Hey now, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Still Got Game, episode 295. Still Got Game is the official podcast of tooltoplay.com. I am, as always, Derek D. Smooth Nolan.
And I am Joel Dude I Rock Albert.
Well, Joel Dude I Rock Albert, as we can tell from the echo, we've been off for 2 weeks due to unforeseen circumstances, well, semi-foreseen circumstances, but you are here despite not being in the best of all situations.
I'm in a extremely echoey apartment because it is completely unfurnished and therefore there is nothing to actually soak up the sound. So you will hear me as though I'm coming out of a cave, sadly. But I got a nice fireplace behind me.
You do. You got a fire rocking there. It's very masculine.
Yes, it's very cold in this city, and I'm not used to that, so I have a fire going 24 hours a day.
Now, we have a raging fire upstairs, but ours is actual wood, not gas, not a cheese out.
Yeah,
no.
We cheese it out, dude. We cheese it out all day. No flue at all. It doesn't go anywhere. It's just
you just absorb that
burning fire, burning gas in my lungs. It's fine. I like it.
Nice.
Yeah,
very nice. All right. Well, like we said, it's been a couple weeks. We apologize to the audience out there. I know we keep trying to come back, but Jay has moved once again not coast to coast, because you don't quite get to the East Coast going to Chicago. You stop in the wrong time zone. You're like, I can't even handle getting another 2 or 3 hours here. But so he's back in Chicago. I am here in Boston, and we are back in full effect. And before we even get in the show proper, I pitched this last week. Now that we're back on this time zone, let us know if you want to see the show at a different time, because now we don't really have to go maybe as late as we do, because we don't have to gear towards the West Coast time and when Jay can be home from work. It's very different for someone to be able to come home from work and actually vidcast versus someone to watch from the West Coast. So If you have a different time that you prefer, let us know the time zone you're in and what time you'd like to see the show on Monday nights, and we'll see what we can do. We'll find something equitable for everyone, including Jay and I.
Yes.
All right, well, on that, why don't we hop into the show proper, and we'll jump right into feedback from last week's show. Remember, if you want to leave us a voicemail, it will cut you off after a minute. I'm Mr. Pete Comments. Hey, guys, just listen to the podcast. Sony didn't tell people about the required downloads for SharePlay because there isn't any. The games are streamed and joining is instant. It works far better than I thought it was going to. However, games are capped at 720p, 30 frames a second. Duty is right about the messaging, though. It's far too slow. It worked well at launch, but something screwed up with the past few updates. Sorry about the spelling and grammatical errors. I found a 6-pack of Winter Porter at the store today. So this is, we were kind of speculating on the, before we knew all the details on SharePlay, we said, well, okay, it's great that you can invite a friend in, but what if you invite them into a game that's a 40 gig download? And so you got an hour with them, but you have to wait till they download 40 gigs. But apparently it works just like remote play, apparently. And you can literally, Sony's, what's that other service that we're all in the beta of, where you can stream the PS3 games? But it basically works that same way, where you're just getting the streaming version of the game, which is that's a much better way to do it, especially where someone hasn't bought the game to get them in. But I think that's fantastic. Then the whole thing became much better to me.
Yeah, it's a really cool thing. I mean, obviously, I'm hoping that they port this over to both systems. I'm hoping that we start to see something like this with Xbox. But it's really nice to see it, and I think it was a very understated feature. Now, knowing what we know now, it's kind of funny that really they didn't talk that much about it or pimp it really that hard, when I really think it's almost the main feature of this new system, or of this new update. It's kind of crazy. Like, you'd figure if you were trying to come out with a feature set where you can sort of get distance between you and your competitor, in this case Xbox, this would be one of the things that you would really throw out there. I mean, this is a big difference between one of the two systems. So it's really cool.
No, and Hit has reminded me it's called PlayStation Now, is the service where you could stream your favorite PS3 games for $3.99 a day or some outrageous price. So that's from PlayStation Now, but it's great when it's a free hour for your friends with a new game.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, Rageopulous comments. some really great discussions in last week's episode, that's 3 weeks ago, about Xbox One holiday price cut. I think you two are absolutely right. This will certainly give Microsoft the boost they need going into the holiday season, and I think Sony's arrogance will lead them into not cutting their own price. I may become a 2 Xbox One household like D Smooth. Thanks for the awesome show.
I love this comment.
Yeah, and now we've seen, now that 2 weeks have passed, we've actually seen a lot of the Black Friday deals, and Sony has not cut the price. They've thrown in games, they've thrown in Grand Theft Auto or whatever, but Microsoft has thrown in at least one game, sometimes two. Assassin's Creed, whatever the last one was, and Unity in the with you can get that for $329 from Target on Black Friday. Like, that's unbeatable.
Yeah, it seems strange to me. The thing I love about the comment is saying that PlayStation's arrogant. What seems to happen is, like, no matter what, whoever gets on top, and this is not a gay joke, but whoever gets on top is really going to be the one that's always arrogant. It doesn't matter. Happened to Microsoft. Obviously, we saw this generation. Now they're trying to play that crawling up game. But as soon as they get one edge forward, it's like they immediately give up, or they immediately say,
"Oh,
we've
I
got
can
this.
Rest and relax.
Yeah,
I got this nailed." Yeah.
Yeah, it's really a strange thing, and I think a lot of people tend to say, at least in this generation right now, that PlayStation is resting on their laurels. But I would say that they always do it. It doesn't matter which system it is. It seems to be whoever gets on top first is like, okay, we're ahead by, I think right now they're ahead by 3 million units. It might be a little bit more than that. I can't recall. But, that's not a huge lead. That's certainly something where a holiday season can turn that all around. Maybe not like a full 180, but certainly they can give a lot more steam behind Xbox with this move. So I don't know. It's crazy.
Well, especially where the deal from Microsoft goes till January 2nd. So not only does that cover the holiday shopping, but that covers everybody that got a little cash for Christmas.
Yep.
They got some Best Buy gift cards for Christmas. Yeah, $350 is a fucking cheap price for a console.
Really is, man. Yeah, really. I mean, especially already this soon. It's 1 year past, and they're already slashing prices. And really slashing, I think, is a key word there. They're giving away what is, I think, probably their best system that they created. Certainly one of their most expensive ones thus far, and they're giving games with it too. So it's like it could never be a better time to buy right now, for sure.
No, it's insane. And because the kids don't listen to the show, we're planning to pick up at least one, maybe two more this holiday season. So we will become a 3 or 4 Xbox One household by the time the Christmas season is through. So nice. It is priced that appropriately. So take that what you will, people that are asking me questions. By the end of this holiday season, there will be 3 or 4 Xbox Ones here and 1 PS4.
There you go.
Yep.
Speaks for itself.
Yep. All right. Shadow comments. Whoa. All right, I'll do it. Keanu Reeves. Whoa. Glad to hear you're coming back, duty. Lan! Exclamation point, exclamation point. Ha ha ha. Hope it's a positive reason. Safe travels. Well, we know your travels have been safe because it's been several weeks and you're there. But
I exist still. So yes, things are fine. And it was for good reasons, very positive reasons. I'm glad to be back in the city of Chicago. I do miss California. It was very, very nice outside. But yeah, in terms of the land, I would say that's probably a very, very, I would almost say it's given at this point. And no matter what, I think we're going to do one regardless of size. We're probably just going to focus on getting friends. And we're not even going to really do like a big charity thing or anything. We're probably just going to get people together, do very, very cheap tickets so we don't have to like price people out. Because one of the things with charity that we do is we go for a very large number so that if we get a lot of people, we have a lot of money to give back. And that's not to say that we hate charities, but I think what we'll do is we'll focus the ticket size on being very, very cheap, not worry about this grand scale of things. And then if we give stuff away, which we always do every year, we'll just give all those proceeds to charity and not have to worry about making people sort of pay up front to do that. So it was definitely one of the big things on my mind coming back. And I would say it's pretty much a guarantee for next summer. So yeah, I could just say, yeah, that's probably going to happen.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And we all can't wait for it.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, and then last but not least, Sarah comments. You guys are so funny. Thanks for making me laugh while I learn about video game stuff.
I like the voice you put that in. That was
well, only because it came out like in such a hot way that I had to at least throw it a bone in that general direction because
Gotcha.
thanks for making me laugh while I learn about video game stuff. There is no better way to put what we talk about as video game stuff.
It is video game stuff.
Yes.
That's basically what we do. Yeah.
But Sarah, we try. We try to entertain. We try to be funny. Sometimes we're not. Sometimes, no. Actually, what am I saying? We're always fucking funny.
Yeah, it's always great. Come on.
Sometimes it's at our own expense, but it's
right. We may be the only two people laughing. That may happen at points, but we're still funny.
Yeah, but we try. So we appreciate the comment, and we will continue to be funny week after week. If any of you have feedback like all of these fine folks, give us a call, 773-527-2961, or email us at podcast@tooltoplay.com. And in site-related news, I've got nothing. I know Jay's just completing a coast-to-coast travel, and he's probably, he's cutting me off. He's got nothing either. So we will just jump right into what we're playing. So Joel, do I rock, Albert? What have you been playing this week?
Nothing. I have tried to play a little bit of Destiny while I've had some really shoddy internet at a sibling's house while I awaited moving into my new place. But other than that, I really haven't had time, and I really haven't had the internet to play video games that is required. So a little bit of Destiny here and there, but that's really about it for me, sadly.
All right. Well, I have been playing the fuck out of Destiny, playing basically every single day. I've been doing the raids with myself, Tiff, Mr. GBMS, Hit, Marcus, and one random other Tool to Play person that's lucky enough to play with us. But we're always looking for Tool to Play people. So if you don't have me on your friends list on Xbox One, D-Smooth, add me, and we can do some raiding together. And Hit loves raiding. Tiff loves raiding. Mr. GBMS loves raiding. So we definitely could use some people in our crew. And I've played some Fantasia Music Evolved, which we bought it as kind of a one-off novelty because all the kids were looking for something to do one day. It was cold out and nobody wanted to go outside. That game is fun as fuck. It's not it doesn't have the learning curve of a rock band to learn an instrument or whatever. It's not as completely sweat your ass off as a Dance Central, but you feel there's no other game that you feel like you are controlling the music more than Fantasia Music Evolved. So if you're into music games in general, you want to have a good time with current hits as well as bum 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 bum. Like just it is such a good time from classical to the latest pop hits. It is awesome. So I can't recommend that enough. And I don't even have it on my list here, but I did attempt to play the Master Chief Collection, and I wanted to love it. Tiff wanted to love it, and so far it's mistreating us.
It blows, dude.
10-minute times right in matchmaking. You finally get in the game, you play your game, and then you're like, okay, let's back out. And the party leader backs out and everybody else is still not with you. And then they finally quit. And then it takes them like 2 minutes before they even show up so you can invite them back to your party. Not to mention, now granted, the game did something kind of cool where they have all their different control schemes. And those schemes have changed from Halo to Halo to Halo to Halo. And they have these universal control schemes that you can pick, like a universal bump and jump, which is a bumper jumper control scheme across all the games. But you know what? It's still not quite right. And it's fucking 2014. Just give me a universal custom control scheme, something where I can say, okay, I want to use this control scheme over all games, and let me assign the buttons for each game. And then let me use that because I don't know. It's really hard to go from a game where your melee is on the right stick and then switch to your melees where your grenade is. And then you go back. Like I played Master Chief Collection for 2 hours, even though it sucked, went back to Destiny, and all of a sudden I'm fucking throwing grenades and when I'm trying to melee and
it sucks.
Just custom control schemes should be part of every game at this point. It doesn't take that much effort. Just bring up a UI, let someone assign action to the button, just like you do in-house. Just give us that UI and we're done.
Yeah, and if that was the only bad thing, then maybe I'd feel okay. But the game is just inherently broken. Like, broken. It is a non-functioning game, period. I mean, you cannot get into matchmaking. You can't do campaigns. None of the party system stuff works. To launch a game this broken, and which seems to now be the norm, is starting to wear, like, really. There's been articles that have come out on Reddit and a lot of other people have been talking about this. It's really getting to the point now where if you buy a day one game you are doing it to yourself. You deserve the amount of shit that you're going to get. Yep. And the only way to really speak out against this stuff is to never pre-order again. Don't pre-order any game that you're excited about. Just don't do it. It's not like the game's going to go away. We're not in the world where they don't press enough CDs anymore. You don't have to worry about it. So it's like, I'm kind of making this my sort of stand with MCC and how things were on Destiny day one and Diablo and all these games that are like AAA multi-million dollar games that fall flat on their faces for the first 2 weeks to a month. It's just not worth it anymore nowadays to actually pay money up front for a product that is broken for the first month or two of use. It's insane.
No.
So I don't know.
It's absurd.
That's my rant. That's
a good rant. I like that. I'll make sure to cut that clip out and throw it up on Twitter and be like, listen to Joel Rock Albert shit on 343. Never send us anything again.
Oh, dear God, yeah.
Yes. All right. Well, I guess on that, why don't we slam on over into the new releases? And we're just going to skip all the new releases for the last 2 weeks since we've been gone because it doesn't even make sense to go back to those. So that had Master Chief Collection, that had Assassin's Creed, all this other stuff. But we're going to hop into the fresh new releases. First new release out this week is a multi-platform release, and it's Dragon Age Inquisition. And it's out for the Xbox One, the PS4, the 360, the PS3, and the PC. This is the third major game in BioWare's popular action role-playing game series, Dragon Age. The game takes on a more open-world approach this time, leaving quest choices to be much less linear than the previous games. Combat has also been revamped from the previous Dragon Age games, so instead of just the normal fighting action role-playing game type combat system, it also has this tactical view where you can step back from the battlefield, you get an overhead view, and you see all the members of your party, and you say, okay, you're going to do this, you're going to do this, you're going to do this, I'm going to do this, go ahead and do it. And then you watch that play out, and it's kind of more the old school RPG, like back in Baldur's Gate days, the original Baldur's Gate, really old school way to play RPGs. In addition to the single player campaign, for the first time in the series, there is now a separate 4-player co-op campaign that you can play through with 3 other buddies, which is awesome as well. The game looks amazing. It's been getting really good reviews in the high 8s and low 9s. If it wasn't this time and there weren't these games out, I would probably think about picking this up because there's nothing like playing a good RPG with a bunch of buddies. But for me right now, that RPG is Destiny, and which is weird to say because it's a shooter, but it is what it is.
It's not my type of game. It's not my type of thing. But having said that, this is one of the most popular series, and a lot of people love Dragon's Age. So I really wouldn't be surprised if this game does actually fairly decently well. I haven't been into that type of RPG for such a long time, though. It'd be really hard for me to go back, I think. But it definitely looks good. I actually have been looking at the screenshots, looking at like how the gameplay is. It looks like a pretty good game. So we'll see.
All right, well, next new release out this week is also a multi-platform release, and it's Far Cry 4. And this is out for the Xbox One, the PS4, the 360, the PS3, and the PC. This is the 4th game in Ubisoft's uber-popular Far Cry series of games, and a direct sequel to 2012's Far Cry 3. This time it's set in the fictional mountainous region of Kyrat, which is basically the Himalayas. They just can't use that, so they call it Kyrat, but it's the Himalayas. Ubisoft tried to address all the issues that people have with Far Cry 3. And there were some issues where having an open world game and a quest line didn't really connect together well, and it screwed everything up. But they really have tried to blend in your ability to explore the open world as well as progress your storyline. And I think they've done a really good job with it. The graphics are stunning. Gameplay looks absolutely amazing. It's been getting solid review scores. Granted, early reviews, but still in the low 9s. That's a lot better than the previous Far Cry's did. So I would say if you're a Far Cry person or you're just looking for this type of action first-person shooter, role-playing, adventure type game, this is about as good as it gets.
Yeah, I am a Far Cry guy. I played Far Cry from the very, very beginning. Years and years and years ago. It's weird. I just don't have time to play it now. I feel like it's coming at a weird time. But that's probably not the case for a lot of people. I don't
No,
think
for us, everything is a weird time right now.
Yeah, everything is a weird time right now for any gamer. So it's like you've got to make that choice. You know, how much of a Far Cry guy are you? Are you so much of a Far Cry guy that you're not going to do MCC? And for me, it doesn't even matter. I got MCC. I'm probably not going to play it anymore because I'm so mad. But I still love Destiny. I still have new games coming out. I still play WildStar on occasion. So it's like, I don't know where I'm going to fit it. But I will definitely guarantee you that the game will be purchased by me. Like, there's no question. It may be a couple months down the road, but this is the best thing about waiting for games is they only get better after launch, and they only
the price
get cheaper.
only goes down.
So it's one of those games where it's not a day one game for me, but I know I'm going to get a great game 2 months in, patches galore, and it's going to be $20 cheaper. So this is a great game to pick up regardless, I would say.
Agreed. All right, well, next new release out this week is also a semi-multi-platform release. It's Little Big Planet 3 in the South for the PS4 and the PS3. This is the 6th Little Big Planet game and the 3rd in the main series of games. The main change this time around is instead of just playing a Sackboy, there's 3 other main characters you can also play with, and they all have their own different powers and abilities. Also, for the first time in the game, the whole game is voice acted, so now there's no more or just a narrator saying what's going on between scenes. The whole game is voice acted. Sounds amazing, looks amazing. It looks stunning. They basically continued that realism thread that they started on the PS3. If you saw the original Little Big Planet in the PS3, it looked almost photorealistic. Like these were like cutouts from magazines that they were just tacking on to make the game world. And it was unbelievable. And that look is to the nth degree more than that now. In addition to being able to transfer all of your old Little Big Planet 1 and 2 DLC that you've bought for the game, all 100 billion gajillion pieces of user-generated content that's happened in Little Big Planet since the beginning. I don't know what the number is, but it's like, I remember at some point it was 100 million pieces. It is lost count, but all of that old content is now importable into Little Big Planet 3. So you can play all of that content in this latest engine, 1080p, 60 frames a second, up-res graphics. Everything's looking beautiful. There's no new review scores out for this yet. It's one of those embargoed games where you have to wait till release to get the scores. But the previous 2 games nailed it in the mid-9s, so I am assuming this is going to do the same. I would say fans of the series, this is a no-brainer for you. If someone else that's got a PS3 or PS4 especially that's looking for some game that really showcases like what it is to be next gen, it may be not a shooter, it may not be an action adventure game, but there is no game that will make your console look better than this game. So I would highly, highly, highly recommend this. I've got the first 2, and we're probably going to pick this up anyway, even though we have no time to play it.
I was going to say, like, how much time? I want to say, this was like a while back. I feel like we had a conversation like this about Little Big Planet 2. Maybe it's like the same conversation we're now having with Little Big Planet 3. It's like you purchase it because everyone tells you it's amazing, but no one really has the time investment to put into it because it really does require, I think. I mean, yes, you can just play. But to really unlock the potential of Little Big Planet, you have to like be that guy. Like you've got to like put hours into the game, like Minecraft, to really like excel or enjoy to get the most out of a game like this. There's no question the game is stunning. There's no question that there's tons of things to do, but there's just no way a person like a normal gamer like me who's got a job and can actually do anything with Little Big Planet.
No, I agree. I put an hour into Little Big Planet 2. The kids put hours and hours into it. So that's the difference. So as long as there's someone in your house that'll take advantage of it. And granted, there's times I was in the family room playing on the laptop, doing something else, watching them, and the game looks stunning. To watch, even if you're not playing.
Yeah, no, I definitely think it's a no-brainer. Like if you've got someone in the household that's going to love it and actually get the most out of it, it's one of the coolest ideas and one of the best things that Sony's had on their platform since day one. So it really is a no-brainer for sure.
Yep. All right. Well, last new release out this week is out for the Wii U, and it's Super Smash Brothers. This is the first Wii U iteration of Nintendo's wildly popular fighting game series. It features 49 characters from Nintendo's rich archive of properties. On some of the larger maps now, you can play 8-player games versus just 4-player games, which has traditionally been Super Smash Brothers. But the online play is still limited to 4 players. So if you're playing 8 players locally, you can go 8, but online 4 only. You can use any of the Wii U controllers, including the pad, the nunchuck, the Pro controller, all these other bullshit things that are out for the Wii U. But you can also use, with the adapter that they sell, the Nintendo GameCube controller, which obviously brings it back to its roots. There's no review scores out for this yet, but the fanboy meter's off the fucking charts, and we know that this thing is going to rate like, if they could give it 101, they would.
I'm already buying it. I mean, so I bought the Wii just to play really against Hitman maybe twice. That was like the original reason, just for Mario Kart for like 2 or 3 games.
Your big Mario Kart thing where you're going to play like 3 times a week and stream
2 times. Yeah, totally. Yeah. But this is like beyond a no-brainer for me. I'm actually still super psyched to actually get a chance to play this. I can't wait. Total no-brainer. This is a reason to buy a Wii. This is their game. I mean, Mario Kart, I think, was the start of that, and they're doing a really great job. I know everyone here usually wants Nintendo to fail just so we get the IP over to a different system, but this is another system seller. Like, this is another this will move systems out the door way more than we saw from Mario Kart, and Mario Kart did a phenomenal job of actually moving systems. So I think we're going to see. This is like the dark horse. I don't think anyone really knows how much this is going to push systems come Christmas. So it'll be interesting to see where these numbers lie after all this settles.
Were you a Melee or Brawl player?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. Yeah.
Were you competitive at all?
No, not at all.
Okay. So that's the thing. So and that's kind of the twist on this whole sword is I think of that upper echelon of players. This is a no-brainer. This becomes your esport thing. It's pushed in, assuming that the gameplay
if they play
lives up to what it's supposed to for an esport. But I think for the casual player, it might be fun couch co-op with your friends, but I don't think the online play becomes. It's like when you're playing Madden with your buddy and you're like, oh, I fucking always kick his ass. And the very first time you ever went on and played Madden, you lost like 118-3. And you're like, that's not even a football score. How is that possible? And it's one of those things where it's economies of scale. Like among the shitbags, you're the best shitbag, but among the gods, you're a piece of shit. So I don't know. Once people start to see that, I don't know if that word of mouth thing, buddy goes over buddy's house. They're like, oh, okay, we had a good time. And he's like, I'm going to go online, watch this. And as soon as you get completely ass fucked, I don't think that the game has that much appeal to people. But
well, my whole thing with that is like we are the grown up version of the guys that played Smash. I mean, it's our game from when we were younger. For people that actually had GameCube and played this game. So for me, it's more like I'll play against Hit. Like friends will play against friends that loved Smash when they were younger, and maybe they don't live by each other anymore, or they have since met each other after that, and they have that connection of like, oh, we all played Smash when we were younger. I think you're gonna just on the nostalgia dime, people are gonna throw money at it.
Well, that's how Nintendo's primary business model is nostalgia dime. They're like, hey, look, it's a me, a Mario. It's a me, a Legend of Zelda. Yes.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yes.
But that nostalgia alone, I think, will actually move a shit ton of units. I mean, I really do. Whether they play the game afterwards, I mean, you're right. They might unwrap the game, put it in, and someone absolutely demolishes them, and they're like, well, that was fun, and they move on. It'll get Wiis into people's houses, and that's obviously what they desperately need to do. So even if it puts a Wii in your house, and then when, let's say, Zelda rolls around, you're like, well, I've got a Wii. I had it for Smash. I got my ass kicked. Maybe I'll play some Zelda. That makes more sense, I think, down the line if you've already got the Wii in your house.
See,
so
I love Smash, but it's still not going to get a Wii U. Like, literally, the Wii U is the first console since the Odyssey that has not been purchased in this house. By me. Forget this house, but by me. Is the first console since the Odyssey. So we're going back before the Atari 2600. Like, this is insane. I just cannot support this console even for Smash. But who knows? It is what it is.
I'm a little sad. I understand. It's okay.
We'll see what happens. But yeah, I thought consoles were Pokemon, but this is like the poison Pokemon that you don't want to get because it kills all your other guys. But
right.
All right. Well, on that, Jay, why don't we slam on over into gaming news? First story!
Sad story. Xbox Entertainment Studios is no more. This is a huge bummer because I was really looking forward to what they were going to put out. But Hollywood Trade Magazine Variety reports that Xbox Entertainment Studios, the arm of the company which was developing programs based on its game lineup and original shows featuring TV stars, is no more. According to Variety, former CBS executive Nancy Tellem and the rest of her team have been let go despite an expectation that they'd have the rest of the year to finalize the fate of the studio's projects. Tellem was hired in 2012 to helm the division. The company made the decision to wind down the entertainment studio after Santia, I hate this guy's name, Nadella, which is obviously the company's new CEO, and refocused its Xbox efforts on the games. Though it had been reported that the Halo TV series, which is why I was so excited, which was under development by the studio, would still be on track, Variety says that the fate is unclear following the studio's closure. The studio is reportedly going to be given time to finish the existing projects before being closed, but that no longer seems to be the case. The move might be a mistake, according to one Gamasutra blogger, quote, bankrolling executive TV shows can be a cheaper option to make a system stand out than funding an exclusive AAA game. And we've seen these games, how expensive they can be. And Microsoft's original plan to release a portfolio of ad-supported television shows available only on the Xbox could have been a major differentiator for the system, quote, end quote, Brian Cashman wrote in September. So for its part, Sony, in case you guys don't remember, is working on working with comic scribe Brian Michael Bendis on Powers, a new TV show that will debut on the PlayStation Network in December of 2014. So personally, I think this is a huge loss. But what do you think? What are your thoughts on like TV specific for the console?
I thought this would have been a huge boon. There's one thing about having exclusive AAA game titles. But even at that point, you're like, okay, we've got this, you've got this, we've got this, everybody's got one. So this is the real differentiator. And I think the only reason that Sony has this show, Powers, is because Microsoft came out and said, hey, we have this studio, we're going to be producing all this original content for the Xbox. So they were like, okay, we got to throw something in this ring. We can barely scrape together a couple bucks. Let's get this comic that no one's heard of, Powers, get it out there. This should have been amazing. And I think this was a huge, huge mistake. I think it was cut too early. I think Satya Nadella was, he came on board. He was like, okay, let's cut the fat. Let's cut everything out that I don't understand. And anything that hadn't not yet generated revenue. And I think this was a serious differentiator and revenue generator. And I think this is a huge, huge mistake.
Yeah, and it's weird. I mean, obviously anyone that has or that got their Xbox One on day one before they really cut the Kinect, which we can all agree or disagree on that, whether that was a good move. It obviously moved more product. But you can all agree that when you bought that system, you bought that ecosystem, the idea of it really being an entertainment center, it really not being just for games. And I think because of all the marketing and the way that the original fanboys got so mad at Microsoft that it wasn't a gaming system anymore, it fueled that idea that like somehow it's inferior. And now when we're actually getting into this life cycle and we're seeing these games are all relatively the same on both systems, now you start to say like, man, I wish we had something extra, like maybe like a fucking TV series or some shit. And it's really a bummer. It's gamers doing themselves a disservice once again. There's really no reason.
Short-sighted at the beginning.
Yeah, it's too short. It's the same thing with digital downloads. It's the same thing with all the things that me and Derek rallied for, that really we were the underdogs and obviously lost the majority of that argument. But it's one of those things where gamers are so short-sighted. Yes, we're going to get the games. I don't really think they're going to ever cut out the gaming part, right? I mean, I feel like it's a gaming system. But it would be amazing to have other content and new things to go watch when you buy the system, when you're in that ecosystem already. And it being ad supported and knowing that I wouldn't have had to spend a dime to get a Halo TV show, it's really frustrating. It really, like, I saw this news and I was like, this is bullshit. There's a reason Netflix is doing so amazingly well with their original content, because it's something that you can only get on Netflix. Yep. You can't get it anywhere else. And this was a way to create a series that somehow got mass appeal that would move units. People would buy units just to watch the show. So, yeah, I don't know. Obviously, I'm super pissed about it, but it is what it is.
Huge fucking mistake.
Huge mistake. Huge mistake. That's why they should always hire me or Derek.
Yep.
All
Consulting
right.
for hire.
Consulting. Very, very cheap. $6,000 a month. All right. Excavated ET cartridges fetch more than $1,500 at auction. This is via joystick. One man's trash is another man's pricey crushed game cartridge. Last week's eBay auctions for the Atari cartridges that were unearthed during the production of the Atari Game Over documentary have concluded with the top grossing auction pulling in $1,537 for a mangled, sort of boxed copy of ET for the Atari 2600. A total of 9 cartridges were sold for more than $1,000 apiece, with copies of Asteroids, Centipedes, Missile Command, and others pulling in hundreds of dollars each in additional auctions. Each game will ship with a certificate of authenticity to tell your friends how big of a moron you are for buying it, and an ID tag from the city of Alamogordo, which is the city where they actually dug up all the stuff, and a photo supplemented narrative detailing the lot's history, which, yeah, if you don't know the history by now, then you probably shouldn't have bought the thing. Regardless of whether or not you bought a memento, you can learn about the context surrounding the excavation when Atari Game Over premieres on November 20th on Xbox Live. Hey, look, they're creating original content to watch on your system.
That we're all waiting to watch. Yes.
So, I mean, I think we've probably talked about the story itself a million times, but what do you think now that we're seeing the prices? I want to say we talked about the prices at one point, but I can't remember.
We speculated. And I think this is great. This is obviously not all of the stuff they dug out. They're going to be piecemealing this over time. Right. Because there were only 10 of these ET cartridges that went out, which is what helps drive that demand and drives the price up. But like I said last time, I wouldn't buy these, but I still own a copy of ET. I still own a copy of Asteroid. Still own a copy of Centipede. Still own a copy of Missile Command. I don't play them, but I can understand the value of this as a historical thing where, you know, as part of the demise of Atari, where they literally fucking took millions and millions of dollars worth of product, crushed it with a steamroller, and then buried it. Like that part is what makes it interesting. But it shows that there's at least still interest from, I guarantee you everybody that spent money on these things is not someone that was alive during the Atari era.
Yeah.
Like, which just goes to show that there's historic significance to this, and it furthers the game industry, I think. I think this is awesome. But I don't know. I wouldn't have paid $1,500.
That's, yeah. The bottom line for the story
is a lot of cocaine, a lot of strippers.
Yeah, exactly.
Like much better things.
That's one half of a day in Vegas, maybe. It's like an hour in Vegas, really, think about it. But it's totally worth it. All right, next story. World of Warcraft, and this is something that we hear pretty much every game launch as well, was hit with a DDoS attack during the new expansion's launch. And this is via Gamasutra. With the launch of the latest World of Warcraft expansion, Warlords of Draenor, Blizzard had a tough first day, due in part to a denial of service attack. Micah Whipple, a World of Warcraft community manager, confirmed on Battle.net forums that stability in-game, quote, has been less than ideal as we approach our first full day of launch, end quote, as a DDoS attack resulted in increased latency. DDoS attacks are pretty much commonplace right now in almost every single game launch that I can think of in the last 2-3 years. But if you don't know, just recently the long-awaited MMO ArcAge was DDoSed before it even launched, while Steam, Origin, and Battle.net were all hit with attacks earlier this year. Destiny was also one of those that was hit with a DDoS, and I think pretty much any game that is online that has any sort of hype behind it will probably be DDoSed as well. So is this really surprising anymore, or should we just... I almost feel like they need to prep for the DDoS way ahead of time if you're even got a remote chance of selling games.
Yeah, I'm not even sure how this is news anymore, which is why I kind of put the story in, because it's almost like game came out, people bought it, story at 11. And you're like, oh, okay, cool. That, like every other game that came out and people bought. Like, this is like game came out, got DDoS, story at 11. It's anything that's online that has an ecosystem there where someone can mess with your ecosystem, they will. It's just how it is. People are dicks. And
it's crazy.
It's not surprising, but it's sad that it still goes on to this day.
Yeah, it's more of the prep. I think the story behind the story is always, what is the prep that the companies take and do that? And a lot of people are really mad at Blizzard. So if you've been following the Draenor launch, I currently don't play, but I mean, I still follow the community. And really, they're mad because Blizzard's got all this money, and they probably should have known the attacks were going to happen. Most recently because of what happened with Diablo, that they got DDoS to shit when it first came out. So they already know it's going to happen. They've dealt with it in the past several times over. And so now the consumer's almost mad, not at the DDoSers, but that the company isn't ready for the DDoSers. So it's kind of come full circle now where the consumer's like, well, yeah, dude, you're going to get DDoSed.
It's going to happen now. Protect me from it.
Yeah, stop it. Stop it now. So it's interesting how that's kind of developed. It's a known thing that's going to happen. And now consumers want them to be prepared for it. So hopefully it all gets settled and people can, have their mages shit fireballs and be happy, but we'll see.
Shit on kids.
Shit on kids. Next story, Witcher 3. This is freaking insane. Witcher 3 Wild Hunt includes 16 free DLC packs. I mean, is this a communist country? I don't understand how they're planning to make any money. I don't even get it. The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt will have 16 post-launch DLC packs, all of them free. Witcher 3 will launch February 24th, and the first DLC drop is on February 25th. Yes, the next day.
The next fucking day.
The next day. Including 2 content packs, the Tarmarian armor set, which is basically a horse armor set that's included, and a beard and hairstyle set for the main character, Geralt. So that's right away. Each week after release, 2 more DLC packs will launch for the game until all 16 are distributed. Yes, all 16 free every week. Oh my God. Developer CD Projekt Red stresses that there's no need to pre-order, which is insane, to get special editions to receive the DLC. In an open letter, CEO Marcin Iwinski says the following, quote, "As gamers, we nowadays have to hold on tight to our wallets as surprisingly, right after release, lots of tiny pieces and tempting content materialize with a steep price tag attached. Haven't we just paid a lot of cash for a brand new game? As CD Projekt Red, I think that should be at CD Projekt Red, we strongly believe that this is not the way it should work. And with The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, we have decided to do it differently. Cutting to the chase, everyone who buys Wild Hunt will receive 16 specially prepared DLCs absolutely free regardless of platform." So this is like, if you ever took what everyone hates so far about Destiny, if you look at what they talk about, how they got a game and they strip things out of the finished game on purpose because they want to reposition it for DLC, and that may or may not be true, but the things that drive gamers crazy these days.
About every game.
About every game.
You name it.
I'm just using Destiny because it's the most recent one. But yes, any game. It's why does my game launch with thousands of bugs, and why the fuck am I paying for patches for the game that's broken? That comes usually in the form of DLC. And to see this is just like, I honestly am, I may buy the game and just put it away. Just because, and I almost just want to do it just to have, I just want to show people the disc that I bought it, that I'm a part of the solution, not a part of the problem, because this is the type of games that we need to spend money on, Even if it's not my genre, maybe if I give them money, we can push enough money to let people know that this is how games should be made, and this is how games should be purchased, and this is how games should be serviced after launch, because this is fantastic. So,
CD Projekt Red, they've done yeoman's duty with this. We now have seen this 3 E3s in a row. Each E3, it makes Skyrim look like a piece of shit, and they just keep making it better and better and better and better. Then they come over the top, and all of these games, including Skyrim, do this, where they're like, okay, here's your game, and we're going to have all these DLC packs, either buy our season pass or buy them piecemeal throughout. But these guys are like, you know what? You already paid $60 for this game. So, you know what? We're going to support you, and we're going to give you, basically the day after launch, we're going to give you some free bullshit just to say, hey, this is our calling card. And then week after week, you're going to get new expansions, new maps, new mounts, new whatever. For fucking 16 free DLC packs. Most games have 3, and they charge you for each one. And it's either $5 to $10 each, or $25 for a season pass for 3. This is insane. Usually this portion of the show, the What the Fuck story, is all about like a bad what the fuck.
Yeah, it's bad stuff. Yeah.
But these guys are good people. And these are the same people that when we went in for our meeting, they're like, all right, before we show you this, who wants a beer? Like, come on, you want two? One, two? You want three? Yeah. I know you only have two hands, but you can put one between your lap and you can take these two beers and you drink them. And in Poland, they obviously, things are different. And I think that they've seen something that we don't see here.
Maybe this is the type of stuff we need. Because my whole theory about anything behind this is like, if you build a great game and people pay for it, they are so happy with the way you service the game. Assuming you do well at launch, you don't have a ton of bugs, because that's usually a turnoff as well. If they can release this game without a lot of bugs and they give away content, that when a real beefy DLC comes out and they ask to pay, no one will have, at least no one should have a problem with paying for that content. If you've just got like the last 16 DLCs for free, I mean, is it really crazy when they ask you, hey, this new one just came out, will you pay 20? I think I would. I don't think I would ever even bat an eye at something like that. So
if they're two a week, you're talking at that point, that's 2 months out. That's 8 weeks where you've been getting free stuff, 2 months. And 2 months later, they're like, okay, hey, we got, this little piece of DLC. We've already given you 2 months of free DLC. Do you mind buying this? And at that point, you feel like you've already gotten the value out of the game, plus to the nth degree. And at that point, you're like, hey, you know what? I love this game now. I'm in. I'm in the ecosystem here. Here, take my money. But
yeah. So, I mean, I don't even think I need to ask you. But Derek, what do you think about the story?
Jay, this story has me saying, in the best possible way, what the fuck? And on that, let's hop on over into the mailbag and voicemails. Altius asks, you guys are rapidly approaching the huge milestone of episode 300. Any special plans in the works? That's like the scratching record sound, because after our 2-week break, Altius resubmitted this question and the word rapidly changed to slowly. Because we have, in 3 weeks, we only did one episode. So Altius asks, you guys are slowly approaching the huge milestone of episode 300. Any special plans in the works?
There's not right now, but I mean, I don't know. I saw this post and I was thinking maybe it might be cool to try to do like a marathon episode where it's like just us gaming and we shoot the shit. I don't know if we would have to do it on a weekend or something like that, but it'd be kind of cool to do a show that's just
a
like
long form show. We just keep switching games and playing.
Yeah, like we don't actually have a format other than we talk shit for a couple hours out of the day. But I don't know. We haven't thought about it. It's a great thing. I saw the number and I was like, I didn't even think it was that high. So it'll be interesting. I don't know. Do you have any ideas at all?
I don't know. For episode 200, at that point, we just had a lot of call-ins, and maybe I'll tack them on at the end of this episode. But we had people like Major Nelson, Hip Hop Gamer, Michael Pachter. All these guys called in congratulations on 200 episodes. So I don't know. Do we just hope that people notice that we're up at episode 300? Because now it's much harder, because that episode 200 was a legit Tools Type Radio 200 versus our renaming and 3 show changes over to this. And who knows who will notice this? So maybe we just do something extravagant, and maybe we do. Maybe we set it up for a Saturday night, and we start at 7 at night or 6 at night, and we rock till 6 the next night and go for a 24-hour episode that we put out on.
Wow.
I'm saying this, you know what? And maybe we'll throw up like some kind of thing, like a Kickstarter or whatever, to raise money for a charity, and we'll combine the two. It'll be like Extra Life, but our own thing. It'll be like episode 300 Life.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm down with that.
Yeah,
Can we at least like leave the camera for very long portions of the time and like it's just running, or we just kind of go do stuff and then we come back? Or
you need a sub, so
you just gotta have a sub.
Amanda will have to step in and
that'll never
horribly do whatever it is the fuck we're doing. And for me, Tiff will step in and she'll be at least a better facsimile of gaming than.
I'll use Hit as my significant other. He'll just kind of come in and play video games for me.
It's worth it to you to fly Hit to Chicago to play.
I'll fly him over. Hit, you want to stay at my house for a day? You want to come to Chicago?
Free handies.
You have to cook your own food, and you have to cook food for me as well. But other than that, it's
and for the free handies, I meant you have to give Jay free handies.
That's just an entry fee.
Yeah.
Once you're done, right, but it's just one.
It's standard operating procedure. It's payment for the room.
Exactly.
But Altius, we don't have anything, but I'm glad because I almost forgot that we're getting close to 300 because we just say a number at the beginning and then it's forgotten. So I guess we do have to think about that. But there is something huge and special in the works, and we just haven't figured out what it is yet.
Well, episode 300, we could even say, if we don't want to be that insane, 300 minutes is what, 5 hours? We could do 5 hours of show.
Yep. We could do a minute per episode.
There you go. The minute show.
That's probably a better thing. it's probably easier.
That's why
God knows we take the easier way every time.
Exactly. I literally had to do that math really quick to see if it would fit a nice round number, and it hit 5, and I was like, done. 5.
Done. Oh, nice. All right. Well, if any of you have anything insightful like Altius, or we've slacked on your question so long that you need to revise it, give us a call, 773-527-2961. Email us at podcast@tooltoplay.com. You can also comment in this episode's thread in the Tool to Play homepage. And sponsors! Remember, by supporting our shitty sponsors, you help us support Still Got Game. Go Shitty, starting at less than $5 a month. Web hosting from GoShitty.com includes 99% of 20%. That's right. Fuck GoDaddy. I'm not even reading their ad. So, toolplay.com/GoDaddy if you actually have to register a domain name, but GoDaddy has never paid us, and we're done with them. So, next episode, there will be no sponsors unless someone wants to sponsor us that is a listener of the show or someone that wants to reach out to us. And literally at this point, just for the next episode, just for episode 296, you have the smallest thing. We'll take as many as you want. $5 minimum. Boom. Like that is literally 1/10 of the price that ads should start at for a 30-second. So if you want to sponsor us, 773-527-2961, email us at podcast@tooltoplay.com. Tell us what you're selling. We'll tell you what you're going to pay us. Boom. Done. Twitter us up. You can find everything Tool to Play related at twitter.com/Tool to Play. Everything podcast related is at twitter.com/still_got_game. King of the fucking internet, God of everything that's fucking holy, I'm at twitter.com/Derek Nolan.
You can find me at twitter.com/DudeIRock.
Facebook the fuck out of us. Facebook.com/Tool to Play. Facebook.com/Derek Nolan.
Facebook.com/DudeIRock.
Also, our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Tool to Play. Go there, subscribe, and you'll be notified of each and every bit of fine Tool to Play content that shows up there. Mostly hit streaming and Still Got Game, but eventually other shows will come back and they will fill that shit out. Also, we have an app on the iTunes App Store. Go there, download the Tool to Play app. It's absolutely free. It will provide you a little notification of all Tool to Play content, whether video or news, and let us know what you think about it, because we're looking for comments, and we're going to make some changes to it, make it better. So definitely comment on that. Please rate and review this podcast in iTunes. We need some 5-star reviews. We need some comments. Give us 5 stars. Boom, 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 boom. 5. Give us a review. Something like God's best show ever. If it was a guide, blow it. Like, whatever you want to say. Like, just tell us what you want to do with the show. And put it in the comments. And let iTunes know that this show is a big fat hog that you want to ride. Also, wow, I can't. That was fucked up. Jay is shaking his head. You can't see it, but he knows that was fucked. Also, twitch.tv/Tool to Play. Go there. Follow us either on Twitch TV or we have a little subscribe button. Throw us a little bone back, right, Jay?
Click buttons. Give us money.
Yeah. If you like the show, that is your one way to support us. We have plenty of fine sponsors that have gone there, subscribed to the show. Blue Steel, awesome guy, fucking throwing us a bone. Boom. He's just an example of the fine people that have subscribed to the show. And that's the kind of people we're looking for. Someone that loves the content, likes what they're getting, and doesn't mind giving something back. So definitely do that up. And it is your most direct way to help the show. Last but not least, join us each and every Monday night live for right now until you tell us otherwise. 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, twitch.tv/Tool to Play. And I guess on that, why don't we wrap this episode up? I am Derek D. Smooth Nolan.
And I am Joel, Dude I Rock Albert.
Fuck GoDaddy.
Yeah, seriously, fuck GoDaddy. Seriously.